So, we finally made it after a small struggle this morning. Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Comedy, Luxembourg's finest metal podcast. This time with my dude, Peter, and the other dude, the metal inspector, Daniel, who is back again with us for a special treat today. We thought we might talk about, we like to discover new bands, underground as possible, with some bands that are definitely unknown and need to be listened to, and that's why we're here today. We simply called it a Hidden Gem episode. We did something similar before, not in English, so this time we thought we are giving you guys a treat again. And welcome to the show, guys. And we should start soonly with Dan's first band, let's say, on
first
the list.
of all, hello everybody.
Yes,
Glad that which we are in the same room for the first time, and really excited what we have.
a very unique way to record. We are not doing this on a regular basis. There's three people in the room.
For
It's
sure,
true.
for sure.
So this might be weird at first for all of us. For you out there, definitely. But we'll try and figure out a way to entertain you guys. Let me entertain you, right? It was a Robbie Williams song. Yeah. We are not here to talk about Robbie Williams. Anyway, hi Dan, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem. Yet again. Last time we talked about Wilder Run, and I see your list, and you are always very busy with your lists. I can tell. Last time already, I saw this huge lists.
Yeah, I just took it. I can't read my own notes. I just try to put too much in between the lines, and or I just write a word where I remembered where I know what I wanted to say back when I wrote it, but now I don't remember what I wanted to say with it.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
So it's a little bit of freestyle as well. So based on just what comes to mind.
Sure, yeah.
That's always a good plan. I mean, for me, similar. Last week, still, I was driving in the car and I was like, "Oh, I have the perfect sentence to open my speech on the recording day." Guess what? I forgot it, basically. So much for that. Anyway, what we'll do this time will be a bit different also, because we will show you guys some samples of these bands that we are going to list today. Most of these samples will be played in the background, and we'll be exposing a bit more at the end of each speech. So stay with us. I let you start, Daniel, if you want to. So
Let's go.
Thank you for giving me the floor.
Mm-hmm.
As you made your intro, I just realized I somehow messed up the exercise, because we were talking about underground. And the first band that I want to present would have been complete underground exactly a year ago, but when it came out, it exploded. It became actually a hit, and much more than the guy who's behind this project actually thought it was thought. So this is a project called Blackbraid. Blackbraid is, you could best describe it as American indigenous black metal. It's a solo project.
Yeah.
The guy behind it is also an indigenous. He's actually from I think Mohawk, because his name, traditional name, I had to write this down, is Skagasowa.
Okay.
I mean,
and it's a Mohawk name, and it stands for the Witch Hawk. Pretty awesome name.
Yeah, that sounds pretty.
Of course,
pretty
for a black metal band, of course.
For black metal, that's just perfect.
Yeah.
And his let's say more American name is more civil. Is John Krieger. I mean, Krieger.
I prefer the Witch Hawk, to be fair.
Yeah.
Krieger is warrior. It's
Yeah,
German
yeah.
word for warrior. So he's pretty much got it all already from the name.
Mm.
And so this project is actually from a region called the Adirondack Mountains. It's a pretty untouched nature. It's actually, I think, in the state of New York, not in the city, but in the state of New York.
Okay.
Pretty much in the
Yeah.
north. I think it's in the northeast, on the border to Canada, I think. And it's pretty untouched wild nature. I think there are even bears there. It's
Okay.
a pretty good place to make some nice raw
I mean,
black metal.
that's not the first thing that comes to mind if you think about New York, right?
Exactly.
So-
So I was
Yeah, you
I
first
was
think about the city, but
we
state,
talk
New
about
York
the state, which is much
giant
bigger.
state,
Yeah, true.
And so that kind of raw, natural feel from that area is kind of also in the music. Because you have to say this when the first song came out, "The River Flows." I forgot the name of it. Oh God. Anyway, that song. It's a very long name, and it was an absolute hit when it came out. It was featured on different metal magazines. You had it on Banger TV, for example, and had a lot of views. And it's a really awesome song. It really hits you hard with raw black metal, but in a fresh way. Fantastic production. The drums sound fantastic. The guitars are raw. And the screams are really like vicious and it's really well done. And then the second song came out, Sakandaga, or was it the third song? Also another fantastic hit. He released again a third single, again a big hit, and then the album came, and pretty much then he had already kind of released all the good stuff. But because the album was just had one more song and 2 interludes. So, but you had 4 fantastic songs, plus 2 interludes. So if you never heard about it, it doesn't matter. I had heard about it, I had listened to the 3 singles many times, so I was a bit like, oh, okay, the album is nice, but I kind of know it already.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, he became very popular very quickly. And he just had that fresh approach to black metal, but you know, bringing in that natural, that atmosphere from the Adirondack Mountains.
Yeah, and also the spiritual
aspect. I mean, he talks about, for instance, about the genocide of the indigenous people. There's I think a song called "Barefoot Dance on Blood-Soaked Soils." Really one of the best songs. It's kind of long, of course, and. There is this also in the vocals. There's this kind of raw energy in it. He actually said that he doesn't like to do vocals, but when you hear it, you think like, oh God, this guy's been doing this all his life.
Yeah,
and
that's true. Yeah, that one video clip I saw also. Well, I mean, you mentioned the band name when we decided to do this episode, and I was like, I have never heard of this band.
Yeah,
so I checked it out.
Same for me. Yeah.
So and I was like, yeah, that's definitely a guy who knows what he's doing, and it's different than many other black metal projects that we are used to listen to. So it's kind of refreshing, as you say.
I really like the approach to the Native American mythology and all that. And yesterday was also the first time I saw a few music videos of the band, and it's great, really great.
It's also differently produced. Also, I mean, the video clips are more like
it's modern production.
Mix.
The better production. Then
it's not overproduced. It has still that raw grit from black metal, but it has there's a lot of punch behind it.
Yeah,
especially on the drums. The guitars are rough. The drums are very thick. The screams are very sharp, and that is a really awesome combination.
I thought the vocals sounded a little bit far off, but it made sense in the whole mix, I think.
I know what you mean. Like you picture it like being in the wilderness,
for example.
So that's like a bit of a far echo of the vocals.
Yeah, it made sense. So anyway,
I think it fits into the concept what he's doing. That's pretty well.
And he's got a new album coming already this year. I've heard already he already released 2 songs, which are both very, very good. One is 13 minutes long. The other one, I think, is just about 6. And he also now integrates a little bit more native folkish instruments, but not too much, just a little bit, just to kind of give you that moment to breathe a little bit before he launches his black metal assault again.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, so then I shall continue next. The first band I have, but it's not exactly underground either. I think at the moment now the band has already a name in the scene. We're talking about Afsky and the album Ộpλίτης, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Probably not.
We'll definitely butcher some names today. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, all the bands I have, probably I will butcher the names, but Afsky is a solo project from Denmark, formed in 2015, and this is already the third full-length album. And you can describe it as atmospheric, depressive black metal with elements of folk and elements of second wave of black metal, for example. And it feels really special when you listen to it. I mean, I listened to a lot of depressive black metal bands in the past. Some are okay, some are not that okay, and some are pretty cringe and cheesy. And this
that's
is
pretty true. Yeah.
really, really good. I mean, it's the atmosphere. You listen to the album start to finish in one go, and it never gets boring. It's a roller coaster of feelings. It has a lot of depth to it, and you can hear it in the opening track. It opens with a really soft acoustic guitar, and then comes the fast, distorted guitar and the blast beats, and the whole combination. It's really beautiful. You can describe it as a beautiful sort of black metal, and. Yeah, I really love this band. I heard about them the first time in 2020 when they released the other album, which I don't want to pronounce right now, but you will find the names in the description if you want to. And I really love this band, and I'm hyped for what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we said it several times that we like atmospheric metal bands in general, and especially if a black metal band stands out a bit more. I mean, we've all been through this phase where we listen to this classical first wave of black metal, which is kind of nice, but it's nothing that stays with you. Like, I mean, not for me. Definitely, that's not something I want to listen to on a regular basis.
Yeah, sure.
But
sure.
I mean, this kind of music.
This one you can definitely.
This one you definitely can, and it's especially the acoustic parts. I love it when bands bring in these acoustic elements. It gives you so much color in a song, even though the song sings about
it's a cold song, but still you get that warmth from warm feeling.
Definitely, I think it makes sense for
there's this contrast between the depressive, sorrowful parts, and then you have kind of very pretty melodies with like the acoustic guitar sounds really great, and so you kind of move from one color to the next.
Yeah,
and it's not like dragging you down, because that's the problem with depressive black metal.
It's meant to do that.
It's meant to really make you even more depressed. But I think you can also kind of see a little bit of a ray of hope or a ray of beauty in it, which you can then do with these instruments.
That's the way I see it.
I mean, last time you mentioned Panopticon, which is a similar way of portraying beauty in hopelessness, or hope in hopelessness, in a way. So it doesn't make sense what I say, but I don't care. You guys get me, so it's fine. Sometimes I think with the depressive, suicidal black metal. I mean, actually, I don't want to romanticize suicide. That's really not that's something that's a turn off for me. But there are also those that kind of have arrive at a different conclusion. Yeah, definitely. And it feels like that they scream with you and for you. Exactly. They do the screaming for you, so you don't have to do it, but they also do it kind of with you. Yeah, and it's super personal. I mean, it's nothing.
It can be weirdly uplifting.
Yeah,
even though it sounds like the exact opposite.
We would need to come up with a specific word for weirdly uplifting. I like that. I like that sound. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. But anyway, we'll have a listen to Afsky now. So, my turn. To be fair, I'm going to be honest here. I had trouble finding details for this band I discovered only this year called the Resonance Project with their record Ad Astra. Ad Astra is from 2022. Yeah, that's correct. I missed it out last year. But in any case, as far as I know, it's a band with 2 Asian members. And I think they recorded their whole record in Los Angeles or something like that. So they're very reserved in letting know what they are doing. What I like with this record in particular, and in general, I mean, instrumental music often gets overshadowed by it being, oh, there's no vocals, or can you simulate vocals with guitar or with other instruments? And that's something I really got interested in this particular record because it's super spacey. I mean, the artwork tells it already. It's jazzy, it's progressive, it's genty, it's basically everything I like in this progressive extreme area, but it doesn't have any vocals. So, but then again, they did a lot of collabs on this record with different YouTube guitarists or trumpeters or what's not, and it was super difficult finding any details of these fellas. I just know that they wrote back to me in, let's say less good English than I could comprehend, but they agreed for me on talking a bit about them. So I suggest instrumental music needs a comeback, to be fair. I think instrumental music has definitely its place out there, also in the metal world, because again, post-rock is dominated by instrumental bands. And I think metal bands, or these post-metal bands like Resonance Project, definitely need to be listened to, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Yesterday was also the first time I listened to them. I didn't know anything about them, and
it slaps hard. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy music. I really liked it. I didn't know I would like it, but it's awesome. I think it's really techy, proggy. It's something different.
Breakdowns,
refreshing.
Drops
Even
that
breakdowns,
this is nice.
And I heard that song with the guy who plays trumpet.
Yeah, I think that's the second or third song.
Such a great jazzy note. I love that song. It's really great. It's something else.
It stands out to me being one of these bands that definitely get past, like many bands that we will talk about today. But again, the overshadowing part is that they don't have any vocals. So already that's like, for many people, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it should not be a no-go.
Definitely.
I agree with your statement that instrumental music needs a comeback, or just needs more support, or more appreciation. Think of Animals as leaders.
Same.
It's
same.
a fantastic band. What they do with the guitar is
crazy.
Is
new age,
mind-bending, mind-blowing,
Absolutely
mind-alternating. It's really interesting. And vocals are not always an asset. They can also fuck everything up.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Because sometimes I just put something on, it's like, oh, this sounds nice, instrumental, very atmospheric. Then the vocals come, so like, no, I'm out, not for me.
May I mention a band, since we are talking about it? I'm not a big Dream Theater fan because of the
I was
vocals.
just going to say that.
So,
I would love to have an instrumental version of Dream Theater.
You should check out John Petrucci's solo record. You will definitely love it. It's basically how Dream Theater would sound as an instrumental band, in my opinion. I'm just saying it.
Good, I got some homework to do there.
You got some homework to do. But anyway, we'll have a small listen to the Resonance Project now.
so my turn again. So when I wrote my list of 3 bands to present, I noticed that at the beginning I only had 3 black metal bands. So like, no, I got to put in a little bit more color. Also knowing that Pit was going to have black metal bands too.
When Pit is in the house.
I didn't want to have like 6 black metal bands. So I went for diversity here. So I went from black to gold. Not the band Gold, but a band called Sermon. And the album is called Of Golden Verse. And this is a quasi-solo project, again by a man who appreciates his privacy. So we don't know who he is. Yeah. He just goes by the name of Him. Okay.
His Infernal Majesty.
At least we know his gender. So
we assume.
We don't really know his gender. So I'll stick with him. And so he's based in London, and he makes progressive metal and really advanced progressive metal. And so he does most of the things himself. He does the guitars, he does the vocals, the keys, he writes all the songs, he arranges everything. He has a bassist player who helps him. And he actually, for the album, for the drums, he had the help of James Stewart, who is the drummer from Vader.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
And so this album is like progressive metal, but there's some doomy elements, some gothic elements, rock elements. It's very intelligently written. So the great performances throughout the album, from the start till the very end. It doesn't try to overburden the listener. Everything has its place. There's always there's tension in this album. Every song builds up tension, goes to some kind of a crescendo, but also releases it. And it flows really, really well. It doesn't feel forced. And so the build-up is very strong, and then there's release with melodies, and on top of that, this guy, Him, has a fantastic voice. Absolutely, that's pretty much the kind of the highlight of the record, apart from the overall flow. Because there's just clean vocals. He doesn't growl, he doesn't roar, doesn't scream, none of that. And usually I like harsh vocals. So metal albums that have only clean vocals is usually kind of stay away from it. Because it's kind of too much. When I want to listen to metal, I want to listen to metal and not to prog rock. But this one is so good, you have to listen to it. So he really, with his voice, he drives the atmosphere and the overall feel of the album. And I mentioned James Stewart from Vader, who does the drums, and the drums are absolutely fantastic on this. There's this one song called Golden, and there's a part where he just goes so fast with his drums. It's absolutely fantastic to listen to. And we're not talking about just ding, ding, ding blast beats, none of that.
Really technical stuff.
It's very technical, but not like what you would get on a technical death metal record, where it's kind of go all over the place, goes up and down, left and right.
It's more jazzy.
There's just this beautiful flow to it, but fast, very technical, excellent job by James Stewart.
Yes, Sermon is nothing. I mean, I've never heard something similar to Sermon, even though that for many people it can sound similar to particular bands, but it's really it's outside the box a bit.
Yeah, I tried to think of bands that are similar, and I couldn't think of one. I wrote down a few names, but they're more like bands that inspired him. So we have Tool, of course Opeth, but you can find Opeth in anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You have some Catatonia maybe. You can of course mention Wild Run or Neo of Liv Viscaris, but just because they're great prog bands, or complex bands, this is again different. So you have to check this out. It has been so far. It might be my favorite album of this year so far.
Is it? Okay, not bad. Cool. Not bad. Yeah, because we are already like we are recording this in mid-June, and I think we already have some contestants for.
I know what your number one is. I think
I'm not sure. Or maybe we'll see. We'll talk about that later. We are not going to spoil anything. But
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Okay,
spoilers.
I'll keep my mouth shut then.
Spoilers. But yeah. So much for that. I think I'll need to check out Sermon a bit more. Definitely. YouTube.
Me too. Yeah,
So,
checked it out also a few days ago, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There are 2 albums so far.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
the first album is fantastic as well. A bit different, a bit harder. But for the moment, I think you should just check out his latest, Of Golden Verse.
Okay.
of Golden Verse. So we have some homework to do. You two out there. So we have a listen to Sermon.
Okay, let's move on. My next one is also, I didn't want to do too much extreme stuff, so I come up with Ignia, and the album Dreams of Lands and Sea.
No black metal record.
No,
I'm disappointed.
no, it's not soft either, but still.
Yeah.
It's a Ukrainian band, also formed in 2015. It's also their 3rd full-length album. Ignia mixes different styles of music together. For example, symphonic metal, melodic death metal, progressive metal, and they use a lot of Middle Eastern folk elements in the music. They're pretty multifaceted, and it's hard to put them in the box. This album, Dreams of Lands Unseen, you could describe it as a concept album. It tells the story of the Ukrainian photographer and travel writer Sofia Jablonska. And it combines really well the elements of the, let's say, symphonic, progressive elegance with groovy heaviness and the electronic synthesizers and folk elements. It really takes you on a journey, and you get the feeling like you're traveling with Sofia Jablonska through all the different countries and cultures. And like when you hear the songs like Dunes or No One I Owe, which have an oriental vibe, and other songs like Opium Mist have a more Eastern Asian vibe, you really get a feeling for that. And that's, for me, it's really the strength of the album. And I really like the previous records too, but I think this one is really strongest. Combined everything. And I really like the vocals, the singing style of vocalist Helle Bogdanova. Her mix of beautiful, clean singing voice and harsh vocals are part of the whole experience. And you cannot compare a clean singing to other symphonic metal bands. You cannot compare it to Nightwish or anything like that. Her voice is more poppy, catchy. I really love.
Yeah, but very groovy.
Groovy, yeah,
Super groovy.
sure.
Yeah.
And they're also coming to Luxembourg this year in November. I think they're playing support for Fear Factory and Butcher Babies, and I'm excited for that.
I hope I'll be in the country. It looks like not.
Yeah, I hope too. Yeah, you have to say they wrote a great album in times of war, which was definitely not an easy thing. So props for that.
Yeah, and again, I think for many bands out there, on both sides, are having trouble recording music. So again, hats off for this achievement for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with Ignia, it's like a band that is in the making. They're not there yet, but they're getting more and more appreciation and attention. And they have a style that is accessible. That is very, very, very interesting to listen to, because, as Pitt mentioned, You got the harsh parts with some beat downs, with a lot of screaming, and then they very smoothly switch to more poppy parts, and so it's very well produced. It's very clean production. That makes it very accessible.
I didn't get though, especially for this new record. I read the reviews, and then again, I think because of this poppiness and modern commercialized parts that do fit the songs very well. I think in general that's why the record got mixed reviews in general. Like, I think it's better than the first one.
Yeah, for me
but
too.
many people disagreed because it was, for them it was too overloaded. I think it shows that they are not scared showing that it can work, and it does work together.
It does work, definitely. For me, it does work.
It could be a bit of a transition album, maybe too. That maybe the next usually it's like the third one is often the best, so that maybe in the third one they might find the right balance. But I did not find it off-putting.
The same. I was a bit. I was caught off guard when I read the reviews, and I was like, why did they only get like a 5 out of 10
I didn't even know
or
that.
a 4 out
that's
of 10?
a bit harsh.
That's a bit strange. But then again,
I saw similarities to the Agonist, for instance.
Yeah.
A band that, however, split up recently.
Yeah, true. Anyway, up to you to decide. We'll give you a small listen of Ignea. My turn again. So, a band I discovered actually a few years ago, but I still appreciate that record, and I know that for a fact that they are recording a second record, and their whole constellation in the realm of the music that they're doing is a melodic death metal band from Scotland with those typical Celtic elements in it. It's a band called Hand of Kalliach. I'm sorry, I'm butchering probably the name. The record is called Samhain. It's from 2021. And I mean, we talked about this band, or I talked about this band before. I had also the privilege on doing a small record, recorded interview with them. So the funny part is they're both husband and wife. They work together as they live together. So that's always interesting for me, as you can work on the private level and then do these kind of music. In any case, how would I describe Hand of Kalliach? I really like the fact that it's super mysterious in their songwritings. For example, Samhain is really dominated by this typical heavy melodic death metal passages, and Sophie is basically responsible for those more, I wouldn't say angelic, but mysteriously hidden veil of clear and clean vocals that come in. And the mix is just perfect. And Samhain got really high notes the year it came out. And first of all, and again, shout out to them for allowing me to share their music. And I really look forward on what they will do next, because I really like contrasting vocals, and in that case, John, he's responsible for the harsh, heavy shit, and Sophie is there to calm him down, basically. And I think both of them, they work so well together, and they really achieve this mist, this really mysterious layer of folkish elements. Yes, I love Eluatia or Suidakra, but this is different. This is really, it's hauntingly beautiful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get what you were trying to say. You can also not compare to other melodic death metal bands.
No, not really.
I really don't know any band you can compare them to. Maybe a little bit early Insomnium stuff, but the folk elements really change everything. It has a unique atmosphere.
Yeah, and the interesting part is, okay, if we talk about folk elements or instruments, we usually think of those old wooden instruments. But in that case, it's basically
Scottish, Celtic,
Scottish,
like
Celtic,
Pipeback.
not even
bagpipes, no.
bagpipes, but just the layers of the piano or the certain passage of notes gives this reminiscence to their traditional background and their Scottish landmarks, basically. And I think that's all. Again, it's nice to hear a bagpipe, it's nice to hear a flute, but sometimes that can be overloading the song. And in this particular case, it's her with her clear voice and some pianos, and then the melodic death metal part comes in, and it sounds traditional without being traditional, and yet it is. Doesn't make sense, I know what I mean, but I get myself, so. But then again,
I see some maybe some parallels to what's one black metal band to Sour. It's like a Scottish black metal. That's black metal. We're talking about melodeath here.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, the comparison.
So
is there.
It's just like just injecting those elements, those folkish instruments, just in the right, just a little bit of it.
Yeah,
making sure that it stays
amount.
metal. But just to give that kind of unique flavor.
Yeah, and again the atmosphere.
album.
The atmosphere that is so important, and then on Samhain, the atmosphere is very, very dark, very ominous, very mysterious. I think that's the three words that go together very well for this record. But again, you need to listen to it to understand, I think.
I will.
You will, we will. Have a listen to it now.
My third contribution for today is black metal again. And
who would have thought?
Yeah, wow, what a surprise. Next time I just gotta take no black metal, but
we could do a pop podcast.
A pop podcast. Well, I'm out of that.
I mean, why not? But then again, we say why not, but
K-pop.
no. K-pop maybe, yeah.
Baby metal.
Baby metal, for example.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me go back to this project. This is another solo project, and it's called Lipa. Mm-hmm. It's German black metal. It's from a guy called Noise, and Noise is a very busy man. Just like the guy from Sermon, this one likes his privacy, probably even more. He's very mysterious. He calls himself the name, or they call him the nameless soldier. He doesn't want to associate a face with the music. Mm-hmm. He wants to stay completely anonymous. So when you see him on stage, he always has a mask on. Mm-hmm. So you have no idea who he is. And he's very busy because he has two other projects, so a total of 3 black metal projects. The other 2 are Non Est Deus and the project called Kanonenfieber.
Yeah, probably the better known out of the 3.
That is probably the best known out of the 3. Yeah. It's war metal about World War One, and I've actually seen them live. It's a really cool show. But on Lipa, he becomes a little bit more, how should I say, personal. So it's really about fighting your inner demons. So it has those cathartic elements in the music. So the music is, of course, atmospheric, but it's very sad at times. It feels very cold, especially the tremolos are they're gorgeous in a way, but they're also very sad. Mm-hmm. And he combines that, of course, with very fast the blast beats and double kicks, and has a very good flow in every song. knows when to slow down, go to more acoustic parts, especially like on the song, on the title song, Reue. It starts off with very melodic but very sad acoustic guitars, and then he slowly builds up the black metal part and then releases it with lots of tremolos. It's a very powerful song. It really gets under your skin, and you really feel that some kind of suffering, remorse, regret. I mean, Reue is the German word for remorse and regret. That kind of is inside the music. You feel that very much. It's an very emotional album, but still heavy. It's fast, and the production is fantastic. Needless to say, actually all his projects have great production.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also surprising that he released this one in January, and I think 3 months or 4 months later he released another album, not through Leipa but through Non Est Deus. So it is 2 absolutely top quality black metal albums within 6 months, or 5 months actually.
Workaholic.
And apparently he's working on a new project for Kanonenfieber.
I don't mind.
I don't mind at all. He might release it again this year. So he's a busy bee. Yeah,
He's a busy
good
bee.
one.
He's a busy bee. I listened to, just to be fair, since I'm not in the black metal mood right at the moment, it's very difficult for me to get into this saddening kind of black metal. I really have my troubles with it. But I know the message. I know the message behind it. And yeah, I appreciate that those 3 different projects, they don't sound the same. Again, even though, yes, one could say, it sounds a bit too much of Kanonenfieber. I get that, and yet,
but still
to some
different.
extent, vocals are the same because it's the same person.
So
the production is similar, but he tries to improve the production. So he would, I don't know how to produce an album. I really don't know what tools you have to use.
A lot.
But he says like he does it many times until he's satisfied. If he has to do it 20 times over, he'll do it all night, all day. But I think he has now found a certain kind of tone to every, or some kind of texture to every album. So they do sound similar, but in terms of concepts, lyrics, songwriting,
and genre, obviously.
They're individual projects, and if you didn't know they were associated, you wouldn't
not guess.
Recognize.
You
would just think, it's probably just the same vocalist.
It's completely different style.
And even then, I think it's difficult if you don't know the background of bands. We know so many bands that we actually do not know that there are in several other bands or band members that play here or there. So in that particular case, since we did our research, we know it. But I think a normal listener will not probably recognize it. I would not have recognized it, to be fair. Just saying. But let's go on and listen to some of Leipa's stuff.
Okay, and now the last
of us
for me today. I have something, let's say, pretty exotic. Maybe you can describe it. Pretty underground. The name is called Ȯpλίτης. I hope I pronounced that right. It's definitely Greek, but it's difficult. Let's say the name of the band is Greek. The name of the album is Greek, all the lyrics are in Greek, but apparently it's a one-man project, a solo project. But apparently the man behind all that is from China, which sounds strange, but in the end it doesn't matter. What matters is the music, and the music is pretty good, I would say. You can describe it as dissonant black metal. It's very heavy, dark, complicated, chaotic, technical, even progressive. You can compare it to bands like Deathspell Omega, I would say, and Ad Nauseam, Blut aus Nachts, bands like that. So it's really difficult. It's not something you would describe as
an easy listen.
To listen. Yeah, definitely not. But it's a music style I definitely like, and I like that chaotic, overwhelming sound that gets you and takes you on a journey. And this one is pretty good because you can hear underneath all the dissonance, you can hear some pretty good guitar riffs.
A lot of textures also.
It's texture, and it's not that
suppressed, like...
Yeah, it's not that suppressed.
Yeah, okay.
It gets a little bit catchy, but not too much, I would say. It's difficult to describe.
I mean, again, when you told me, oh, did you know about the Chinese guy who sings about Greek stuff? I was like, what? Come again? So
yeah, it's pretty strange. I don't know if it's true. That's what I read. I didn't find much information about this project on the whole internet. Most things I found was on Metal Archives.
Yeah, and
I'm always not 100% sure if
that's correct or not.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but apparently he is from China, and songs are mostly about Greek history, I would say, as far as I know. Ὁπλίτης also is the name of the stereotypical ancient Greek soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce the album names, but you can find it on our social media and or on the YouTube description.
Yeah.
It's definitely something pretty heavy and chaotic, but I like it. If you like bands like Deathspell Omega and that, I would definitely recommend it to you. And as a solo project from one guy, and also it has already released 2 albums for this year. First one was in January.
Another workaholic.
Yeah, and it was his first 2 albums.
Funny. I mean, that's the thing with those, especially with black metal bands. Either you hear something, you don't, or they release like 10 records in a month or something like that.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, you have some of those. Yeah.
So it can be very diverse. Again, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of dissonant music. Okay, there's like bands like Omega Infinity, which for my taste, already gets very dissonant and weird, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I get what you mean, because this is definitely weird and super chaotic, which can fuck up the brain if you're stuck on it for too long. Yeah, I guess that much. So, but yeah, I mean, Ȯπλίτης, right? Ȯπλίτης, yeah. So, yeah.
There's a whole trend in metal too. You see metal artists kind of flocking to this dissonant style, and if you showed that type of music, regardless of the band, if it's now Deathspell Omega or something like Portal or Asystole or Ad Nauseam, which is absolutely crazy, or just Imperial Triumphant. All these things are very hard to get into. If you show that to a normal person, they're like, you listen to that? Yeah. What's wrong with you? Yeah. And I asked myself that as well, because I already reviewed it's true. A couple of dissonant metal albums. There was Asystole, there was Nightmare, there was Fantifaxaf, and they require an enormous amount of concentration.
Yeah. You get lost,
and you need to be in the mood. It's not something you can listen to, casually.
In the car driving home. I could not.
No, you need to really like pay attention to everything that is happening. Yeah. And it goes left and right, up and down. It feels disorienting.
Yeah, like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. They want to do that with music. Or give you a migraine with music, something like that.
And I think that's quite a good way to explain it. Or roundabout, you drive in and you never get out. That would be my explanation.
For example,
Like, do I need to? No, I can't. Next turn. Oh, there is no turn. Okay, what do I do now? Yeah, but again, as you said it, dissonant music got way and way more popular and is becoming really a trend, I even would say. One could even say it's it's definitely becoming a genre. Metal is definitely a thing.
Still underground, definitely.
100%.
It's not for everybody. Yeah.
100%.
I mean, you can like death metal, but you could not like say like no, that's too much. That is, I can really fully understand that. So I think you need to be a bit of a music nerd, or just have like a particular type of interest. It's like looking at abstract art. Something that most people
don't discuss it.
I don't know what is this. I don't like it. I just go to the next thing. But this is very similar, and so it speaks to a very small amount of people. It's like a niche inside a niche.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you see how complex everything is, how layered it is, this is extremely complicated stuff. So the musicianship behind it is extraordinary. So you really have like some very talented artists sitting somewhere, kind of alone, or unless they form a band, that have those skills, and yet no one would know who they are. Yeah. They are not. They don't have any breakthrough in the metal scene. They stay within their niche, and just speak to a very small audience.
Yeah, I think you said it before. You listen to that. I mean, you could compare it to early jazz when people got to listen to jazz. It's like,
you can compare.
What is this? This doesn't make sense. It's all over the place.
Yeah, but you get that with jazz too.
And you get it with jazz too. And yet it is all over the place. But it makes sense to some, and to others it doesn't. So, and I think people are dying to hear.
I would like to say, for my part, I really like dark stuff in general. I really like dark music, and nothing gets that right as dissonant extreme metal. I would like to say I really like that psychedelic horror elements, and no other music style gets that right as dissonant music, I think, for my part.
It's just funny the contrast how you move from Ignea to this. So
sure. I also listen to pop sometimes, so who doesn't?
Yeah, I think we are open for anything here. But it's true, we have some really fucked up taste sometimes, I have to say. So in any case, I think people are dying to know what Ȯpλίτης is all about, and have a listen to it.
That's good.
So we are at the last one, sadly, but I'm very happy to talk about them because I can't stop talking about them, as you might know. I really appreciate this Austrian band called Hills Like White Lions. I did a small thing, I think it was last year or the year before, with them already. They had a pretty decent debut album, and in the progressive metal, post-metal kind of vibe. And they do something different, in my opinion, especially his voice. His voice sounds like nothing I have heard before. Another a good friend of mine, he said he sounds like the singer from Type O Negative. I would strongly disagree, but I know what he means if he says the vocals are different. So in any case, they released a record like a short while ago called Meander, and what can I say about this record that I have not been saying for the last months? This record is definitely on my top 10 list of the year, for sure. It's super melancholic, it's super emotional, yet it is dark, kind of shamanic in a way also. Basically everything I like in the progressive realm, and it's a trio, so they're only three guys. Florian on the guitars, Hannes on drums, Alexander on bass, and these three, they can bring a whole room vibing, even though it's very simply written. If you know what I mean, it's complex without being complex. It is simple yet effective, and yeah, it is beautiful. For me, it's one of the best records of the year, and I'm super stoked hearing it even now. I mean, I'm listening it on repeat anyway on the daily basis. So yeah, heads off. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. Just saying.
Okay.
It's a very moody record.
It's super moody. It is super moody. It's also something I would say is not easy to get into. Maybe because of his voice, again, because his voice sounds so different than other similar artists.
For me, it was different. At first, I thought from hearing what the music style was like, I thought, I think it's not pretty my kind of music.
Yeah, that's not a cup of beer.
Right
yeah.
now. And then after I tried it, I thought, yeah, that's refreshing. That's something new.
Yeah.
That's different. It's really different, and voice makes really a lot, like you said.
Yeah.
It hurts like a really big open head voice sounding
Yeah.
different, something like that.
Yeah, if I look at the first record, so it's basically called just Hills Like White Lions, that came out 2 or 3.5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And there was one particular song called Cave. A very slow-paced, very heavy, but very simple song in comparison to other stuff that we listen to. I mean, we listen to super complex stuff, meaning a lot of drum fill-ins, a lot of technical guitar parts. This is not technical at all, but it is super well produced for, and then again, we talked about it earlier, very often it's a third record that stands out the most with many bands. I would not disagree, but for those bands I really appreciate, I think it's always the second one, the sophomore record, the follow-up that is like blowing my mind away, and in this case it is exactly that. From beginning to start, I mean, the first song that came out was Choral, and where do I start? I like that. Even though I said it earlier, I don't like the dissonance in several bands. I like the dissonant guitar parts where you just basically play the same note or make a string sound the same as the other string, and then you keep that going and then you work with it, and it can sound too easy for several ears. It will be, this is boring in a way. And I think the record really opened up over the 3 songs that followed, and they released it in chronological order, so part 1, Choral, and Maelstrom, and so on and so on. And I love it. Simply said, right?
It is this less is more.
Less is more, definitely.
If you can really like excite the listener with a simple melody or a simple rhythm, then you've done your work. Then then you've achieved your goal.
Yeah. I like the fact, as you said, there's a hole here, I need to fill it. I'm not like, no, I don't. I will not touch anything. This is good as it is, and I think that's a vibe they've been going for this record. Even though it's a concept record and telling a journey of the protagonist, let's say, who goes on a journey to find Luna, and listen to Hills Like White Lions. That's basically what I'm going to say, and I will not say anything.
It sounds like a fantasy game.
It does. It does. It does. Feels like what? Well, it's basically from. There's this one poem. I think there was also a movie made. Hills Like White Elephants.
Yeah, exactly.
Like from and the poem is from Ernest Hemingway. I think they just were drinking beer and thought, we should make music, and they were probably watching this movie. Oh, let's take that. I would have done something similar. So in any case, I would say we'll listen to some and. Give you guys a taste of what this progressive post-sugar is up to.
Between two times
Yeah, so that's it. You got to listen to a kind of long speech in that case of those bands that we really find interesting and we discovered either recently or maybe a few years ago. In that sense, I would say thanks for you guys for joining again.
Sure.
And that we will probably be back very soon with similar ideas, because ideas flow and continue going like waves. They come in, they go. We keep forgetting stuff. That's age also related. In any case.
Okay, that's ending it on a depressive note.
Yes. I mean, you like depressive metal. I know that was Pit, right?
Yeah,
so
but not when it comes to my age. So.
Okay, so I think we'll just stop it there. In any case, thank you guys out there for listening. Thank you, and
cheers.
See you guys very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.